I used to think supply and demand was simple. Finding a zone, taking a trade, profit, but over and over, I just kept losing. And it wasn't because the strategy just didn't work. It was because I was making these same mistakes every single time. If you ever enter a trade and see price just go against you every single time, chances are you're making one of these mistakes too. And the worst part is that most traders don't even know they're making these mistakes and thinking they're just following the rules. So inside this video, I'll break down the top 3 mistakes traders make when entering supply and demand zones and how to avoid them so you can start improving your entries straight away. Let's get into this video. So the number 1 mistake I see traders do is actually just like their psychology. All right. You have to write your rules down. And let's say you have a zone just like this. All right. You have let's say a demand zone right here, and you're waiting for an entry. Now in backtesting, you never actually think about it, but this is one of I'm giving you my experience, right? I'm just giving you my experience on what mistakes I made. And one of the mistakes was staring at the charts while taking an entry. All right. I was waiting just for an entry. All right. And I've been just staring at it, and I just want to take the trade. And I would enter too early, too late, or decide to, I don't know, extend my stop loss, go break even, all that bullshit. All right. So number 1 mistake you need to avoid. Firstly, I'm just giving you the most basic mistake so you can actually just start, steadily, yeah. However you say that word, you can steadily, improve your mistakes. So the number 1 mistake obviously is actually patience. So if you're a beginner out there, please just write down your rules. I've actually written down all my rules in my Discord as well, so all the people in my Discord can actually see all the rules right before they enter a trade. And the rules should be like, okay, after the trade, all right, every single time you take a trade, you go journal it and write exactly what you were thinking at that moment. And that helped me so much. Now, right now, I obviously don't have this problem. When I first started out, I lost so many percent of just taking a trade and thinking oh, it just closed inside my demand zone. Does it mean it's invalid? Oh, I don't know what to do. Should I close break even? And guess what? I closed break even and I lost about like 12%, which would have passed my 50k account. Well, I passed phase 1 and I failed phase 2, but that was a very, very long time ago. And that's exactly what happens if you don't actually master this 1 mistake. All right, so that's number 1 mistake. Let me actually go into the technical mistakes now. Now, another mistake I see traders do is validating low quality setups. Now, this actually depends on the trader, all right, but from my experience, I tend to take only A+ setups because it's better if you take about 3 A+ setups in 1 month and they all win, than take about, I don't know, 10 B+ trades and you lose about 5 of them and you win about 5 of them and you end up with the same profit. So just take those A+ setups and don't just actually validate trades because you have the fear of missing out. I'm telling you, this is all you'll need to look for. All right, you have okay, not bad. You have a strong push up before your demand zone is creating. All right, so this is all for supply and demand traders who use liquidity above their zones. So you have a strong push down, all right, with a few strong candles, a lot of buyers still in, a lot of imbalances in the market, and you have a demand zone right at the bottom of this strong move up. After that, you have a strong push down, which a lot of sellers stepped in, but it did not tap our zone. It came above it, and then once it made this level right here, oh my bad, again, once it made this level here, it takes out its own high with strong break of structure, not with the wick, with the body, which is extremely strong. Now, I'm not saying it's invalid if it does take it out with the wick, but I'm just giving you the A+ example. Then you have a strong push down, potentially having a fake out here for normal supply and demand traders to get faked out, just like that, a decent level of a retracement, and then direct candles into your zone, giving a bullish reaction, and you can hit trades. And as you can see, if you just keep looking at these B setups, for example, just like here, I believe that is a accuracy zone. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this wouldn't say it's a B, wouldn't say it's an A+ setup. It's because we failed to break the high twice. As you can see, decent level of liquidity, nice zone, all that. But I mean, I'm not saying I would not take this trade live, but I'm just saying that I've seen a lot of people. I'm not actually randomly making up these rules. I'm giving you the exact reasons and the exact like things I've seen other people do, and of my own experience, because I've seen people make these mistakes, because I obviously teach a lot of people as well, and I've known a lot of traders, and I've been around a lot of traders, and I've seen them making these mistakes. Now, I don't want to go into the boring stuff, obviously, like psychology mistakes, because I know y'all can watch other videos about that and you actually want some technical advice, but this is actually what you need. So in the beginning of your progress, like if you started trading, for example, in the first 6 months, the most important thing is actually technical analysis. So you gotta backtest as much as you can. All right, put all your time into backtesting, and don't just backtest because I tell you. You backtest for yourself. Like there's a difference. Like in school, you're literally learning like for the teacher. You're not actually doing it for yourself. Like that's for me. But if you're back testing, you need to do it for yourself. So there's difference between, you know, well, it's hard to actually explain, but for example, I like to backtest with my mates. Like I didn't always do it, but I was in a call with my friends and we used to backtest together, analyze trades, like telling the reason why this is invalid, telling the reason why it's valid, talking out loud, and that actually helped me the best instead of just backtesting, having some music on and just chilling. All right, there's levels to levels. All right, but I don't want to go into that psychology things. I just want to actually try to teach you something inside this video. So for example, another like not a good setup here, and the reason for that is obviously you have good level of liquidity. We failed to break this high, and obviously, I'm not saying I will not take this trade live. I'm just saying it wouldn't be like an A plus setup, just because, as you can see, just what we made before that zone, as you can see, just few bullish candles. I don't really like that as well. Other than that, it's not a bad setup. I wouldn't say it's A plus, but not a good setup. And also for you normal supply and demand traders out there, what I need for my zone to be valid. I'm not going to go really in depth into this, but I need to have liquidity and then a breaker structure of that liquidity. So I don't actually trade the normal supply and demand, like the Doyle exchange supply and demands. I trade it a bit differently. But yeah, so the number one rule is obviously just be patient. All right, don't just like stare at the charts. I mean, you can do it if you have like the psychology for it. So you take the trade, you wait exactly when the close entry comes. All right, don't like try to get a better entry, try to enter earlier. I mean, obviously you've got rules for that, break of candle, flip entry, but just be relaxed and think about it like this. Imagine you're entering a trade and you got a whole cinema movie, you're in a movie and people are watching you. And if they're telling you to like, like disrespect your rules, then disrespect your rules. But most of you guys want to become profitable, so I'm telling you, just strictly follow your rules and don't let anything, disobey that. And yeah, so that's number one rule. Second rule is just, well, it's not really a rule, but it's just my personal advice that just go for those A plus setups. All right, even if you're not trading liquidity, supply and demands, I'm telling you, just go for those A plus setups, because those B setups, I mean, long term, they're not going to actually benefit you. Now, always obviously depends on your account size as well. Well, not your account size, but your account situation, all that as well. But that's my number two advice. So my number three advice, well, my number top three mistake advice would be, let me just go into actual analysis. So looking for the A plus setups is, actually, I'm just trying to think about a number top three mistake, because I didn't actually write this down. So I just recorded this video and just trying to give some information out. But I'm actually just trying to think right now of a number three mistake. And yeah, I mean, I've already told everything about like the mistakes you should avoid in number seconds. Just wait for those A plus setups. Like don't validate trades that aren't valid. For example, this trade. Some people, would just say, "Oh, I've seen it happen so many times that it just wicks through the zone and still wins." But trust me, on long term, I've backtested enough, and other people have backtested enough to see that it just doesn't work. Wicks through the zone. Like just that, don't validate like trades that aren't valid. Now, I guess my number three mistake is to just I don't know, like just be consistent. All right, have a risk management formula. All right, have a trading journal. You can get a free trading journal inside my Discord, the one I actually use personally as well. So the advice of this video would obviously be consistent. Don't validate invalid zones, wait for those A plus setups, all that as well. Now, this video wasn't probably what you expected. I wasn't like, I'm kind of like clickbaiting you right now. It's telling you that top 3 mistakes you should avoid when entering a trade. But I'm telling you right now, the number one like technical mistake you need to avoid is actually just, you know, just strictly follow your rules. Like, just watch all my videos I made. All right, I'm not trying to actually just promote my shit. I'm telling you this for your actual like trading health, because if you watch all my videos, you're gonna learn a lot. All right, and once you learn a lot, you can master that into your own trading, and you can backtest, and you can actually just find some of your own concepts you've seen over and over again, and then you just combine my strategy with your own strategy, and then you have a perfect strategy. Or you can just trade exactly the same way I do. That's always up to you. But the number one thing you need to focus on is, as a beginner, technical analysis, and as an advanced trader, after you know all the technical analysis, start mastering your psychology. And psychology, I mean, when entering a trade, is actually wait until the close. Now, it might be really simple, and most of you already do this as well, but I don't know, it was a thing for me because I would used to stare at it. Obviously, at school as well, I needed to like be in class. So I used to sit in the fucking toilet for like 2 hours waiting for an entry, and I used to like enter earlier. Yeah, so sometimes the list just wasn't good. It ended up closing like bullish or bearish. So yeah, I mean, wasn't a video you were expecting, but still, most of you have already clicked off this video because I'm just yapping at this point. But yeah, psychology, consistency, and actually, you know, backtesting for yourself and waiting for those A plus setups. You know, don't validate invalid zones. And that's about it. So yeah, just write down your rules. You can write them down in the trading journal I made, and that's about it. So see you in the next video.